The Safety Online series is generously funded by the RMC Research and Education Foundation.
A spotter is a person who volunteers to help you back your mixer truck to the concrete placement site. You need to keep in mind that this person may not realize that when your truck is fully loaded, it can weigh between 60 and 70,000 pounds. The spotter doesn't realize that when your truck is loaded, over half the loaded weight is above your truck axles. A spotter doesn't recognize this creates a high center of gravity that can cause a rollover on improper surfaces. A spotter isn't aware that your truck can be over 12 feet high and the hopper may be the highest point on the truck. Again, the spotter is a volunteer and not necessarily a trained professional. Work with the spotter, but realize you are always responsible for preventing backing accidents in the safe operation of your mixer truck. Today in this training program, the National Ready Mixed Concrete Association is going to cover rules to help you with spotter interaction and the prevention of backing accidents while on the delivery site.
Don't drive up to a job site and immediately assume the spotter knows how to guide you during mixer truck backing or pulling alongside concrete placement. Stop your truck, engage your brakes properly, dismount from the cab, close the door, walk to the spotter and meet him. Whether backing up to a pump, open footer, manhole, slab on grade, or any location, take one of your cones or a flag, and with the spotter, mark where you will stop your truck. You're identifying where safe backing ends and danger begins. Tell the spotter you will not go beyond this point for any reason.
How you doing?
All right, good. The hand signals we're going to be using today is pull in.
Now, before the backing or even driving forward process begins, review all hand signals with the spotter and make absolutely sure he understands how to use all hand signals. This is the signal for drive in. This is the signal for back in. This is the signal for move in. Here is for move out. Stop. Raise the chute. Lower the chute. This is the signal for start pouring. The signal for stop pouring. Add water. Tell the spotter you won't follow verbal commands. Emphasize you will only respond to proper hand signals. With this meeting, you have established a system of communication for safe backing with the spotter. The driver and the spotter must maintain visual contact at all times during the backing or the driving in process. The spotter is bombarded with distractions. He's looking at formwork, footers, rebar, other vehicles, mobile equipment, other workers, and many other things. Any of these other elements can cause the spotter to lose mirror sight with the mixer truck, and the driver or the spotter may even step out of mirror sight.
What's up?
If you, the driver, lose sight of the spotter during the backing process, you must stop that truck immediately. Now, if the spotter steps back into mirror sight and you can see him signal clearly, then you may resume slowly backing. If the spotter doesn't return to mirror sight, then you've got to stop the truck, engage the brakes, dismount from the cab, and immediately walk to the spotter. Determine if there is a safety hazard or issue that the spotter has seen or that he's encountered. If there is no hazard, briefly explain that the spotter must return to mirror sight with correct hand signals for you to continue backing. Return to the cab, and now you may continue the slow backing process. The cardinal rule is, if that spotter steps out of mirror sight, you must immediately stop the truck until you can clearly see the spotter in your mirrors.
Are you getting the picture now? You're the delivery professional. The spotter is a volunteer. You're coaching and guiding the spotter to help you rather than assuming the spotter automatically knows how to guide and direct you. As you take the lead with the spotter, let's move on.
Placement crews are under great pressure to receive and finish the concrete in a timely manner. Construction schedules, weather, size of the project, and even quitting time all pressure the crew. There are times when it seems that several, if not all, of the crew members want to be spotters and help you back as quickly as they can get you to. Several spotters giving you hand signals at the same time is a formula for disaster. Don't back your mixer truck trying to watch more than one spotter at a time in your mirrors. Stop your mixer truck, engage the brakes, dismount the cab, and then get the foreman of the crew superintendent to appoint one spotter.
My spotter, and I'll be watching you to make sure that I don't run into anything.
All right, you don't want nobody else helping you?
Nobody else helping me, just you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Explain to him that you can only safely take directions from one spotter at a time. Thank everyone for volunteering to help. But here again, as the delivery professional, guide and direct your spotter, one spotter at a time, to help you slowly back safely. At a pump placement site where 2 mixer trucks at a time are backing and delivering concrete, a spotter often stands at ground level guiding trucks to and from the pump hopper. This is a dangerous position, and with one step, the spotter can place themselves between the back of your truck and the pump hopper. Make certain that the spotter is visible in your mirror at all times, and never keep backing if you see the spotter either step between your truck and the hopper or step out of mirror sight. This could be a crushing hazard to the spotter. Also, a slab on grade, another vehicle, or piece of equipment or building materials might be very close to the concrete placement site. The spotter might step between the back of your truck and the vehicle or building materials. Again, stop immediately and reposition the spotter. This could be a crushing hazard to the spotter.
You stand over here on this side of the cone where I can see the cone, and keep you between the pipe and the cone where I can see you real good. Okay.
The job sites and concrete placement points will vary greatly, but a constant part of your job as a delivery professional is to avoid crushing accidents and make sure that you never keep backing your truck if the spotter steps between your truck and another object. There are many different hazards or objects that may cause a backing or driving in accident involving your mixer truck. As we pointed out earlier, when you first meet the spotter, take one of your cones or a flag and mark where you'll stop backing or driving in your truck or the distance that you must remain away from a hazard. An open footer or ditch are hazards that can cause a truck rollover during backing and driving in. Prior to backing or driving in, identify and mark how far away your truck must remain during the process. At ground level, a utility meter, water meter, power transformer, fire hydrant, or water line can all become hazards during backing or driving in. Again, prior to backing or driving in, identify and mark where you will stop your mixer truck or how far away from the hazard you must remain. Other vehicles, structure overhangs or eaves, power lines, tree limbs, ground with excessive lean, unstable ground. The hazard list is almost endless. Make certain that you and the spotter mark and agree on where you will stop or how far away you must remain from the hazard. Prior to starting the backing or driving in process, walk the pathway with the spotter and look for tripping hazards the spotter may encounter. Ground conditions may vary greatly along the backing or driving in pathway. Soft sand, slick clay, tire ruts, slippery grass, loose gravel, rebar, tools, formwork, lumber, footers, manholes, and other conditions are tripping and falling hazards for the spotter. Right now is the time to identify these hazards, point them out, and even mark or flag them. Your first line of defense for preventing the spotter from slipping or falling is to identify the hazards. Remember, the spotter is often walking sideways or backwards while guiding you during the backing or driving in process. The spotter may be solely focused on seeing you in your mirror and the hand signals the spotter's using to guide you. It is a heck of a challenge for the spotter to see tripping hazards and to watch you and your truck all at the same time. You as the driver must observe the tripping hazards and the spotter's progress along the pathway. If you see that spotter slip, trip, or fall, stop your truck, gauge the brakes, dismount the cab, and make certain the spotter is okay and that he's capable of continuing guiding of your truck. Reposition the spotter so he's visible in your mirror or windshield, and only then resume the mixer truck slowly moving process.
One of the first spotter interaction rules we covered was to ensure the spotter knows and uses correct hand signals. Additionally, we want to talk to you about not responding to and not following improper hand signals.
If you don't understand or recognize the hand signals from the spotter, stop your truck immediately, meet the spotter, explain the error, and redirect the spotter to the proper hand signals.
What are you doing, driver? What are you doing? I don't understand that. You want me to stop? Not like this. This is the hand signal for me to stop.
Due to the multi-ethnic mix of personnel in the construction industry, proper hand signal decals or manuals should be in both English and Spanish. If you need to, refer directly to the decal or manual to illustrate and review the hand signals. There are many causes for a spotter to use improper hand signals. The spotter may be talking on a cell phone and trying to guide you at the same time. The spotter gives a one-handed unrecognizable signal because the other hand is holding the cell phone. The spotter may be looking at and talking to another worker while trying to guide you. Again, an improper hand signal is used. The spotter may panic because he feels you're about to make contact with a hazard, object, or another vehicle while backing. Wild, sporadic hand signals are a result. Instantly avoid responding to improper hand signals. As we've said, stop your truck, meet the spotter, explain and correct the hand signals, and only then start backing safely. At many job sites, the customer or a spotter will help the front discharge mixer truck drive into the concrete placement site.
Hey, go ahead and back up for me.
You go ahead and come around to the back so I can see you back there.
But then doesn't help in backing during placement or when the concrete discharge process is complete. Follow the same rules that a rear discharge mixer driver would use for spotter interaction and teamwork. When you get to the job site, stop your truck, set the brakes properly, dismount the cab, and meet the spotter.
Hey, can I holler at you whenever you're backing up?
It's so noisy around here, I can't hear you. We'll just have to do the hand signals.
Okay.
Review all hand signals immediately and be certain that the spotter knows how to use proper hand signals. Also, identify, locate, and agree upon hazards prior to moving forward or backing the truck. Talk to the foreman and the spotter and see if it's possible to get the spotter's help in driving forward and during all backing of your mixer truck. Now, granted, you're going to be pulling forward and directing your chutes in a forward to sideways position the majority of the time during the placement, but backing may be required. If backing assistance by a spotter can't be secured, then if you must back the front discharge mixer, set the brakes, dismount the cab, and walk 360 degrees around the truck. In the rear bumper area and beside the truck, make absolutely sure to examine and to identify all potential hazards. Concrete placement job site conditions change second to second and minute to minute. So where are the finishers and workers? Are there tools or equipment behind the truck? Can you see open footers or ditches? What are the ground conditions like? Assess the hazards, be aware of them, and avoid them as you re-enter the cab and back without a spotter's help. During the placement, you may be required several times to have to perform the 360-degree truck backing hazard walk-around inspection. One additional safeguard for the front discharge mixer driver may be the installation of rear bumper markers to improve the driver's awareness of the rearmost part of the truck.
We've covered 7 basic rules for interaction with spotters and special considerations for front discharge mixers. We'd now like to have you witness a blind spot exercise in which the driver determines the size of the blind spot behind the mixer truck.
To demonstrate the blind spot dimensions, we're going to have the driver park the mixer truck in an open space on level ground. The driver engages the brakes properly and turns the engine off. Now the driver will position a helper behind the truck in direct proximity to the middle of the bumper. Now the driver will use the 3 points of contact and properly access the cab and close the door. Sitting in the driver's seat, the driver will scan both of the truck's mirrors. Next, the helper will slowly walk and back away, keeping himself positioned in the center line of the truck bumper. When the driver sees the helper become visible, the driver sounds the truck horn. The helper holds this position, and the driver takes a measurement from the truck bumper to the helper. This measurement takes anywhere from 25 to 30 feet, which is a big blind spot and probably very much larger than any driver would imagine. Never become overconfident or just assume that you know the dimensions of the blind spot behind your truck. Realize the blind spot is large and it demands your respect and utmost in caution when backing that mixer truck. In addition to respecting the size of the blind spot and using the spotter's help in backing, there are numerous mechanical devices in use to assist in the safe backing of mixer trucks. Mixer truck backup alarms are one of the most commonly used devices to warn others of backing the truck. Your responsibility as a driver is to inspect the alarm and to make absolutely certain that that alarm is working properly during the vehicle pre-trip inspection. Keep concrete buildup off the alarm and ensure that the backup alarm is louder than any other sound source in the immediate work area. In addition to the backup alarm, there are infrared-based systems that trigger audible vehicle collision warning communication. Also, there are a variety of backup cameras being used on mixer trucks. There are advantages and disadvantages to all of these systems. If your truck is equipped with any of these systems, you should pay close attention to your training instructions and make sure that you know how to properly operate them while backing.
We close our training session by re-emphasizing the rules for using a backing spotter. Get down out of the truck and meet the spotter. Use only one spotter at a time. The spotter should never get between the rear of your mixer truck and another object. The spotter and driver must agree on how close to the objects the rear of your truck should be. The driver should watch to be sure the spotter doesn't slip or fall. The driver should avoid responding to improper hand signals. Finally, there are special considerations and hazards for front discharge mixer truck drivers that must be safely dealt with. Remember, the spotter is a volunteer. You are a delivery professional that must guide and work with the spotter.